Guys, we're going to look back at 2026 recruiting. Demontae Tims, he decommits. He immediately sets up a visit to Georgia. Demontae Tims is a 3-star safety on the rise. Anthony Kennedy Jr., a 4-star defensive tackle. He, he's a top 500 player in the country. 4 stars on 247. 247 composite has him at 428. He decommits. Mizzou has 1 commit, and it's quarterback Gavin Sidwar, who had Lane Kiffin come visit him this weekend. So 2026 recruiting is not off to a great start. Now, we do have 7 months until signing day. We do. We have plenty of time to signing day. But there is no momentum right now for this program in recruiting, which you would think after 2 10-win seasons, you would have some. You would develop some momentum in the recruiting trail. But Jackson Cantwell took an NIL offer, and I'm sure he'll be happy at Miami. He gets to live in Miami. Reportedly, the number is $2.5 million. I'm not going to confirm or deny what I've heard. No one will ever actually really know the true number. But you missed on him. You've missed on some other guys. You're down to 1, and we're getting into the end of May, and there's just no momentum. There's no momentum going into this season on the recruiting trail for the 2026 class. And I know a lot of people are like, well, the transfer portal. Eli's done a really nice job in the transfer portal, which he has. Remains to be seen how the guys they bring in this year do. I trust Jalen Catalon's going to be a good player. Damon Wilson has all the tools to be an awesome player, but he's never played at this level as a big time defensive end. So we'll have to see. Same with Darius Smith. They were really high on him in camp last year. We'll see what he does this year. He'll finally get to play. His injuries have subsided. But the core of a program is still going to come from recruiting. The 2023 team, man, Cook was a recruit. Burden was a recruit. Darius Robinson was a recruit. The corners, Abrams, Drain, and Abrams, Drain, and Rakestraw, they were recruits that didn't transfer in. Now, you had some help, like Justin Charleston, Tyron Hopper, but Chad Bailey was a Missouri guy through and through. Johnny Walker was a Missouri guy through and through. I think the transfer portal, and this isn't now, we're starting to see teams we didn't have a Cam Ward in this transfer portal. We didn't have some of the high major names that you see every year in the portal. I think some teams, even the teams that the Big 12 and the ACC, are starting to figure out how to kind of manage this thing, who to spend money on, who to bring back, who they can kind of let go and see if they develop elsewhere. You're seeing that in a lot of places. Teams are getting better at it. Mizzou's always been pretty decent about not overpaying for their own guys. You saw Neary walk. You saw Jalen Brown walk, and they brought in a couple DNs who they feel can contribute right away at a better rate. But you still need to build a recruiting base. And as this gets more into everybody has equal money, everybody has equal opportunity in the portal, there's going to become a time where you have to be able to high school recruit. The best team programs in the country still recruit at high school at a high level. Your Georgias, your Bamas, your Texases, your Ohio States, your LSUs. They still recruit at a high level, not in the portal, but in high school. You have to be able to develop, especially offensive and defensive line. Missouri last year had a really good offensive line in 2023. And Membu, Missouri guy. Tolleson, Missouri guy. Goodness gracious, why is no other name coming to mind from that team? But Cam Johnson was a transfer from Houston. Goodness gracious. But your offensive line, you have to, those guys, you're not just going to find top-notch offensive linemen in the portal every year. There's going to be a few, and sometimes you'll get lucky. Sometimes you will get a Caden Green who wants to come home, or you'll get, whoever. But more often than not, you have to do it through recruiting. And I'm not a huge fan of the offensive line pickups they got. Let's see, it was Tollison, Johnson, Membu. Oh, Javon Foster. I couldn't think of Javon. That's who I was killing me. Javon Foster was a Mizzou guy, like Membu, Foster, Tollison. Like, you have to be able to develop in the trenches at your own program. You're not going to – Keegan Trost might be a really good player. Johnny Williams might be a really good player. I have my doubts. You have to develop internally in your offensive line, because good offensive linemen aren't just entering the portal willy-nilly all the time. So where does that leave Mizzou? We'll see what happens in the 26 class. Like, it needs to pick up, though. Like, a program that's won 21 games in the last 2 years should not be like this dead. And when it comes to recruiting momentum, like, there's none right now. I know they have a bunch of offers out for some 3 stars. 4-star receiver named him into their top 5 today, but he's like option 4. I think he's ahead of Kansas State, if I read correctly. They're ahead of Kansas State in his recruitment, but he's also picking between like Bama, Georgia, Texas, and Texas A&M. What some myriad of schools. Yeah, it's just got to be better. Like, you have to be able to build your own talent internally, because you don't have the money Ole Miss does. Ole Miss is but Ole Miss, it's not apples and oranges. Ole Miss has better money than you, and I think Lane's a better coach than Eli is. So we'll see. It's a little. I'm a little trepidatious about this 26 recruiting class. I don't think the 25 recruiting class is all that amazing. But you got to pick it up. Eli's first few years, you were seeing. You were just seeing top of the line classes for Missouri, top 20 classes, stacking top 20 classes, which is crazy for Missouri. That was never thought possible. And now they're starting to dip and fall back into the pack. They did finish 20th. They're bringing in 11 4-stars, but they lost a couple guys right away. I mean, the 24 class, I lied. The 25 class is pretty dang good, actually. You should be really excited. It's just really disappointing. Who they lost the kid that transferred to. I forgot about Jalen Early too. Maybe Jalen Early would be good. I'm just not confident in it. They lost the kid to Texas A&M, the lineman whose name escapes me, and that was really unfortunate because he was like a building block. But we'll see what happens. But 2026 recruiting it's got to be better. It just has to be. Like, you have to be able to develop. And I think Eli can get it together, but we're getting close to the time where, like, if you don't have momentum now, when are you going to have it? But we'll see. There's no reason to quite panic yet, but it's something I wanted to talk about just because it is rare we get to this time of year and you see Missouri with no momentum in the recruiting trail.